Hello, everybody. Anyone that might tune in. Just jumped on for a few minutes to say hello, see how everybody's doing. For anybody that might want to chat. And I hope everybody's having a good, safe night tonight. 5 years ago, late August or late 2018, early 2019, I found out about some stuff that was happening in Napanee through the Morning Star mission and other crimes that were taking place. Human homeless trafficking, homeless exploitation for monetary gain. As a result, in August of 2019, at a previous address, I went to mental health. There was a woman. I was actually at a place called Pier 17. I was having coffee. I went in there to have a coffee, and there was a woman there who is a patient at or whatever at mental health. Her name is Tracy. Anyway, I finished my coffee and everything, and I was getting ready to leave. And this Tracy woman, she walked out in front of me because I walked out behind her to leave to go home and walked down the street a little ways. She started fucking yelling at me, accusing me of following her, accusing me of stalking her, and everything else. Like, what the fuck? I had no interest in this person in any way, shape, or form, but because of what she was doing and saying unnecessarily, the next day I went to mental health to talk to them, to let them know, maybe try to get help for her because of what she was saying, which could have caused a lot of people a lot of shit. So I go to mental health. The next day, I talk to a woman named Stacy, who is now at Daily Tea Company in Napanee, Ontario, who she is now in Kingston at AMHS. But I go there to talk to her to get about this woman to try to get help for her. I walk in, the first words out of her mouth was, "I know you." "No, you don't." She started making accusations. She started with a bunch of bullshit, and I didn't like what she was saying, so I got up and I walked out. The next day, I was sitting at a previous address outside on Bridge and Center Street, and next thing you know, one David Smith shows up. He actually delivered me some food. And I told him to get away, that he should not be around me. I did not want him around me in any way, shape, or form. He left. About 5, 10 minutes later, one Spencer Mills pulls into the driveway as I was eating. Him and a mental health worker, basically to let me know that if I did not stop talking about what was happening, there would be serious consequences. And he was right with the threats and intimidation. He was 100% right. It was shortly after that I was sitting out at my previous address once again. XOPP chief went by. He drove a white Jeep Wrangler. This was in August of 2019. He went by on the corner of Bridge and Center. He waved at me. He's never waved at me, but he waved at me this time. I waved back. When I waved back, a black truck pulled up beside him. They pointed something and shot it, and it went into my right ear. I then started having problems. This whatever was it shot into me, it started moving through my damn head. And I was getting burning and a lot of other problems. So I decided to go to the hospital to find out what the fuck was going on. They then decided to Lennox and Addington Hospital. They then decided they were going to give me an appointment for a CAT scan, November 2019 of that year. I go to my CAT scan to get my CAT scan done. My mother was still alive. She was with me and somebody else. I go to get my CAT scan done, and who was there? One Stacy, the mental health worker that I previously talked to at mental health at Daily Tea Company, that's now AMHS. Come to find out, she was there stating that she was there for me, for anxiety, for all of this other bullshit. I had no association prior to Stacy. But anyway, I get my CAT scan done. I wanted to see the picture results. I was told I could not have them. I was then automatically told that I needed medication, da 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 da. I do not know, other than what the anxiety bullshit, what Stacy had told, who I now know to be is one Margie V, aka Tatiana V, Stacy's girlfriend, name and file falsifier, and medical blacklister at Lennox and Addington Hospital. She is very seriously dangerous. But after I ended up getting shot and all of this happened, there was a guy that came onto the scene, or I went to the hospital and she was there, and then I was medically blacklisted. After that, I was told I could not have my results and da 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 da. And then I was having other problems, not happy with my results. I went to Kingston General Hospital, but not before one guy known as Bill Woldridge showed up onto the scene. He was living at 34 Water Street. He has many alias names. He goes by Bill Woldridge, Bill Cooldridge, Bill Delarosable, James Bubbles, Robert Cross. He also thinks that he is me, believes that we were switched at birth, and thinks that he is my dad and Harry Potter. The piece of shit was also stalking my mother while calling my mother mom, and he also caused her death. He murdered her with intent. But every time I would go out, he was always right there. He was walking by my place sometimes 10, 15 hours a day, and that's no joke. I would go out, he was right there just like clockwork, knowing exactly where I was. I fucking found out he then had mail sent to my address. I found out his name. I was back down at Pier 17 again, and I was standing outside, and he walked by. He was coming up the street, and I've shown the pictures many times. He was coming up the street, and I got his picture. I also got some video of him. He was on his way to Tim Hortons. He is a child sex slave trafficker. He was on his way to Tim Hortons to get children, stock children for XOPP chief for sex slavery trafficking. I then got his picture. He went into hiding for approximately 6 months. While he went into hiding, he had changed his name. He had changed his identity a little bit. I was still living at my previous address on Bridge and Center Street still. He then moved in across the road at a place what is known called the Boomhauer House. In May of 2021, after he moved in, I witnessed him giving oral sex to a child approximately 16 years old in his driveway. I did not have a chance to do or say anything, or I certainly would have. It was after that I would go to hospitals anyway because I was still having problems and I wasn't satisfied with my results. I went to Kingston General Hospital and they conveniently got a phone call stating that I was a suicidal self-harmer. Not true in any way, shape, or form. I am about life and I certainly am no self-harmer. I was there to try to find out what was happening to me to try to save my life at the time and still am. But because my long hair and the tattoos that I have, whoever that call came from, it was automatically believed. So I was prevented from getting help and I was prevented from taking serious. So then I decided I would try Belleville General Hospital. I finally got in. There was a French doctor working, and he came in. I seen your file, and I am not going to do anything shooting off his mouth about medication, trying to make this seem like it's a mental illness thing because of bullshit lies once again about me. So then I never got anything done there. I had to start going back to Napanee Hospital. And every time I would go there, either a mental health worker would show up, I would walk in, I was being belittled, I was called names, and I was getting up and I was walking out. I was not being taken serious, I was being belittled, and I was not going to take it, so I was walking out. And they were trying to turn it around to make it look like and seem like it was me that was refusing treatment, and that's not the case. I am not going to be treated like a piece of shit by doctors who are criminally negligent involved in co-committing and covering up crimes. As a result, I had to keep going to that hospital. I then contacted patient relations to tell them what was taking place with the hospital, with the doctors, their criminal negligence, their refusals, their me being rushed to the hospital by ambulance and having to pretty much crawl up the stretcher and crawl home, treatment refusals, and then I was falsely arrested from through patient relations for stating what doctors were doing and that they needed to be criminally and negligently charged for what they were committing, and they were a threat and danger to society. Needless to say, I believe, I cannot prove, but I believe it co-conspired through OPP cops that are involved in the human trafficking and the human sex trade, slavery trafficking. I believe it was co-conspired to have me charged with harassment or whatever the case may be. And that was not the case. That was just me trying to get help, and that was me stating crimes that were taking place through that hospital and the doctors. But that was their attempt to try to shut me up. That was their attempt to try to buy time, and that was their attempt to try to criminalize me to get away with what they were getting away with, what they have gotten away with so far. So as a result, I ended up being charged, and I was prevented from going to the hospital for a full year. And then while that was taking place, I was then made homeless in 2022, where I then had to move to Kingston. I was made homeless and I was living on the street. I was still being criminally stalked after that in Kingston by one Jason Gimpy, two-step Van Alstyne, who knows Kingston. He travels Kingston. He is well known at the hub in Kingston, and he is a fentanyl dealer, a laced fentanyl dealer causing homicides through laced fentanyl. But I was made homeless for a full entire year. I have been kidnapped May 27, 2021, 24 hours after asking for help with what has taken place with me by one Shelley Hafner. Done 24 hours after asking for help, and she done that under false pretenses through a Judge Chappelle in Kingston. They took me to Kingston. They got my blood and my piss. They then turned around and left when they found out what they had done 24 hours after me asking for help and them trying this shit. I have been sex assaulted. I've had doctors laugh in my face over it. I've had doctors then try to have me committed for having it happen because I'm a man and because I reported it and because it was through the police. And one Bill Woldridge. I have been completely and totally mutilated. My lungs, my kidneys. I went to the hospital one time to try to get help, and this was after my charges were finished. I went to the hospital to try to get help, and as a result, I was kicked out of the hospital. I was told by Paladin security that I was not going to be seen and that I had to leave the hospital. I had not done a damn thing. My lungs had then collapsed, and I had not been the same since. I have had problems ever since. I then started being mutilated. My skull was being deformed. My face was being deformed. My lungs, my kidneys have been mutilated on me. I have been through complete and total identity theft, identity change. I have been seriously brain injured on the right side of my head. No previous damage prior to being shot in August of 2019. The lies, the time buying, the cover-ups, the arrest refusals, the false arrest, the extortions. It's been 5 years, and the reason that this happened is because of me speaking of OPP crimes. As a result, I come to find out that what I was shot with was what is called remote neural monitoring. What it is a microchip implant, and I know that sounds crazy, and I can and have proven it. It's a nano microchip implant, and what it does, it enables invasive surveillance on a victim so a person can see, so they can see through a person's own eyes. It also is for destruction of one's central nervous system. My mother, when she was stalked by Bill Woldridge, she was also having remote neural monitoring used on her, and I spoke of this saying that it was being used, and what would happen because of her age, she would end up getting cancer. As a result, she ended up getting cancer from it, and she was killed with intent, and that was done through Bill Woldridge, the one known as Bill Woldridge, that came onto the scene and started stalking. That's approximately 70 years old. And then there is also a Blair Hardy. He is a meth trafficker. Allegedly has a meth lab in Tweed, Ontario. He is a rapist, financial thefts and frauds, identity thefts and frauds, pension thefts and frauds, forgeries, and homicides. There is one Jason Gimpy two-step in Allstein. He is guilty of, like I said, dealing laced fentanyl in Kingston and Napanee, causing overdoses. He is a crack-fed, crackhead piece of shit. He's guilty of my identity theft, which can be proven, and guilty of attempted murder. Tyler T. Baglake, he is a meth-fed, rat informant, piece of shit, lowlife. He is guilty of being involved with my identity theft, torture crimes, and attempted murder on me. One Bert the Hitman Hustler, he is also involved, guilty of attempted murder on me. One Ray LeBlanc, he is guilty of torturing and killing my dog with Tyler T. Baglake through using R&M on him and torturing him and killing him through giving him cancer. Once again, like happened to my mother. There is one Dale Hartwig, who is now a rat informant, aiding OPP for drop charges for a stabbing he committed against his wife's boyfriend at the time. He is a speedhead, and he is guilty of attempted murder, identity theft, being involved with my identity theft with intent. And it can be 100% proven. There is also one Tony Anthony Axel Rose Hearns, who is a speedhead, who is a speedhead who is guilty of being criminally involved with Dale Hartwig and guilty of attempted murder. They are all speedheads, meth heads, crackheads, fentanyl heads. They're all sex slave traffickers, human traffickers. They are all sex offenders, and each and every one of them are using what I said was R&M on me, the remote neural monitoring. This is how my skull is being split. This is how my body is being mutilated. And this is how I am going through my identity theft. As I am talking about this right now, I have no feeling on the right side of my head whatsoever. Nothing. All of these lowlives are using the R&M on me, and they are committing torture crimes on me, and they are passing it back and forth while they were fucking high. They are all Ontario provincial police accomplices to their sex slave trafficking, their human trafficking, their torture crimes, their drug trafficking and murders. Other police that are criminally negligently involved with Bill Wooldridge, Blair Hardy, Tyler Lake, Van Alstyne, Hartwig, Hearns, Hustler, LeBlanc, and Robert Berry. Ex-OPP Chief or Commander, year 2019, like I said, that drove the white Jeep Wrangler. He's guilty of attempted murder with intent to commit. Staff Sergeants, years 2019, guilty of attempted murder with intent to commit. Years 2019-2021. Shannon Cork, she is guilty of attempted murder, human trafficking, laughing in my face, guilty of attempted murder with intent to commit my identity theft and framings along with the rest. Robert Lucas, Dave Weiss, Stacy, once again the mental health worker that was Napanee Daily Tea Company, now Kingston AMHS, and Shelley Huffner. There is Robert Kane, Drug Cop 7224. There is Spencer Mills 14716. They are all very seriously dangerous. They are all criminally and negligent involved, along with the hospital doctors. After I was medically blacklisted, the doctors who are criminally negligent involved with criminal intent to commit and cover up with the treatment refusals, discriminations, the name calling, the medical blacklisting, having me falsely charged twice to cover up their crimes in an attempt to get away with it. Like I said, one Dr. Margie V, aka Tatiana V, the name and file falsifier, the one that assured this, and Stacy's girlfriend. Dr. Joy Hadley, Dr. Barton, Dr. Pritchard, Dr. Waldron, Dr. McGregor, 3 triage nurses, ex-CEO Coveyduck, and Brown. I hold you criminally negligent responsible for everything that has taken place with me with 100% proof, while preventing me from getting proof, while treating this like a crime through bullshit lies against me. Like I said, the suicidal self-harmer, which is certainly not true in any way, shape, or form. The long criminal record in history, which is not true in any way, shape, or form. I had no criminal record or history or association with anyone prior to being shot and this happening and me speaking the OPP crimes. The lies of long psychological record in history, which I did not and certainly do not have in any way, shape, or form. Lies cast against me. Once again, because I had my long hair and I had my tattoos and all the other bullshit, it was believed about me to prevent me help in an attempt to try to discredit me, in an attempt to try to get away with what they've gotten away with. I am also the end of my bloodline, so with what has happened to me over the course of 5 years, every single person named is guilty of attempted murders and murders with intent to commit, and also guilty of ending the one bloodline with criminal negligence and intent for revenge retaliation because of me speaking of Ontario provincial police crimes once again. This is what happens. Jason Two-Step Van Alstyne, Blair Hardy, Tyler Lake, Ray LeBlanc, Bert Hustler, once again, Jason Gimpy, Robert Barry, his boyfriend Robert, who was alleged AIDS victim and he's spreading AIDS around Napanee. Dale Hartwick, Harry Hartwick, and Tony Anthony Hearns. They are the all untouchables, unarrestables because they can implicate and because they are all co-offenders and accomplices with and to OPP. The justice of the peace is also criminally involved too, with obstructions, accusations, saying I was high on marijuana and hallucinating being sodomized. I don't fucking think so, and that was because it was done against the cops. And then preventing private prosecution, me going to have it done on them, and the very same day I go to have it done on them, it was done to me to have me charged twice. And that's when I ended up homeless in Kingston. So let that be a warning to everybody. And as I'm doing this right now, I can actually feel my fucking head filling up with air or something, and my face is being completely, totally deformed. One way or another, Blair Frederick Hardy, Bill Wooldridge, Tyler Lake, Jason Van Alstyne, Dale Hartwick, Tony Hearns, Ray LeBlanc, and every other one of you pieces of shit, I will see you locked up and I will see you in prison, and I am not paying the $22,000 that OPP is trying to extort from me for you pieces of shit. When people go missing, this is how it's being done. Full, complete identity theft. I am 52 years old, and these pieces of shit is in their late 50s, 60s, and Van Alstyne and Lake, I am older than them. They are child groomers, sex offenders, and highly obsessed homosexual low-life junkies. The full right side of my head is completely and totally fucking numb. I feel nothing. And you bastards know that I cannot do anything about what you are doing to me. Each and every one of you of the lowlives named, they take turns while they are getting free meth, free crack, free speed, and fentanyl to deal out while they are all getting fucking high and taking turns 24/7 using this shit on me, even watching me sleep. They watch me piss, they watch me shit, they watch me doing this, they watch me sleep, everything. That is how bad, and this is 100% provable, and I have proven it. Look at my fucking chin right in here. And the sad thing is, each and every one of these pieces of shit, because who they are and who they are involved with, is untouchable. So let that be a warning to Napanee or anyone else. That is the piece of shit known as Bill Wooldridge, Bill Coolidge, Bill Delarosable, Robert Cross, James Bubbles, and the one that thinks he's also me and Harry Potter as well, the fucking simpleton, heroin addict, delusional piece of shit. That is one Ray child groomer LeBlanc, who is guilty of injuring and torturing my dog through the R&M and giving him cancer to kill him with Tyler T. Bag Lake. He is also guilty of attempted murder on me. Dale Hartwick is guilty of attempted murder on me and being involved with my identity theft along with the rest. That is Bert the Hitman Hustler, alleged NHL hockey player for the Philadelphia Flyers and Hartford Whalers. He's a pillhead, he's a sex slave trafficker with the rest of them, and he's guilty of being involved with my identity theft and guilty of attempted murder with intent. Robert Kane, 7224, OPP drug cap, rat informant, guilty of killing my dog Runt March 2023 with Ray LeBlanc being involved with my identity theft, which can be proven. Guilty of attempted murder on me with intent to commit identity theft, identity and insurance fraud. Blair Frederick Gerbiler Hardy, he's guilty of identity thefts, financial thefts and frauds, meth trafficking, meth lab, and tweed allegedly. He is guilty of rapes. He is guilty of multiple homicides as well. He is also a highly obsessed homosexual. Jason Gempy Two-Step Vinalstein, guilty of identity theft with the intent to commit identity fraud and insurance fraud. Guilty of multiple homicides, possibly guilty of a murder in 2021. Drug lacing to commit homicides to be above suspicion of committing murders. Guilty of my identity theft and attempted murder on me. Tony Axel Rose Hearns, he is a speedhead, guilty of attempted murder on me. These are all sex offenders, sex slave traffickers, human traffickers, junkies. and each and every one of them are also using R&M on me, which is causing my identity theft and my deforming. Tubes coming up from my chest through my throat and my neck, which bulge out, which I have shown and proven, that come up around my neck and to the back of my head. I had not had that either. No surgeries or anything prior or after being shot once again by ex-OPP chief in 2019. That is Blair, Frederick, Gerbiler, Hardy, and Jason Gimpy Two-Step and Allstein. Each and every one of these pieces of shit are seriously dangerous, and each and every one of these lowlives need to be arrested and criminally charged. I'm losing my fucking identity, and I'm losing my life and my bloodline, which is taking place. I am being murdered through these pieces of shit for OPP revenge. When people go missing, this is how it's being done. They are being medically blacklisted. They are being injured, tortured, having identity thefts committed on them. Well, they are being murdered. Families are murdered and missing. I would seriously check the police to make sure that they are not involved, and I say that without any kind of hate or anything else against them. They have proven just what they're about, just how dangerous they are. So look what the fuck has happened to me because of me speaking of OPP crimes and crimes out of the Morning Star mission. Complete total mutilation. We're going through identity thefts by these fucking lowlives and not being able to do a damn thing about it because I've been medically blacklisted, and this is how they assure their crimes in Napanee. Once again, Bill Wooldridge, Blair Hardy, Tyler Lake, Jason Manalstein, Dale Harwick, Tony Hearns, Ray LeBlanc, Bert Hustler, again, Robert Berry, his boyfriend Robert, Dr. Margie B., a.k.a. Tatiana V., name and file falsifier, medical blacklister, Dr. Joy Hadley, Dr. Barton, Dr. Pritchard, Dr. Waldron, Dr. McGregor, ex-CEO Covey Duck, and Patient Relations Brown, Justice of the Peace. I have many videos out showing my tattoos. I have many pictures and videos out proving the crimes that have happened to me. Knowing that there is fuck all I can do about this while I am being physically changed and losing my life. Let this be a warning to anybody you speak crimes through OPP, especially in Napanee, Lennox, and Addington. Expect to be injured, tortured, mutilated, medically blacklisted, lied about, arrest refusals. You will be the one blamed for everything taking place upon you. So these bastards can be above suspicion and get away with what they will get away with in Napanee because it's the police, doctors, poor, elderly, disabled, causing homelessness for exploitation. I now look like Gimpy and the rest of these other fucks, crackheads, meth heads, and a bunch of other junkies. Look what the fuck you've done to me. I will get you arrested and I will see you in prison, you bastard, lowlife, motherfucking garbage.